Hello all, I am Sawan Wani. We have posted many lectures based on power plant instrumentation. So for more videos, you can subscribe my YouTube channel. Just hit subscribe button. In last few lectures, we have seen how the power plant design is done. What are the various parameters required for the design of any power plant system? What are the requirements of any power plant? Then what are the design elements included in power plant? Also, we have seen what are the costs involved in designing the power plant system. At the same time, we have also seen that how the feed water systems are there, what are the various types of water, then what are the how the implementation of feed water circuit is done, then how the temperature measurement, then pressure measurement of water and steam is taken into consideration, and then how the pressure temperatures of water and steam are measured. And also we have seen the level controllers, that in order to measure the level of the water in the drum of the boiler, so for that also we have seen that how the level measurement is taking place. So in continuation with the previous lectures, we are going to see here the impurities in water and steam. So this lecture is only based on the impurities based on water and steam, and also what are the various parameters which are causing the impurities, and also how the impurities in water can be controlled. So going starting our lecture with our first slide, that is impurities in water and steam. So as we have seen that the boiler feed water consists of two parts, namely condensate water and makeup water. So see that the impurities present in condensate water and makeup water is required, and therefore is to be treated at more manner, because the condensate water and makeup water, they are directly taking part in the working of the operation of the boiler. So condensate water from steam turbine is already treated for impurities, and the makeup water component is also treated from raw water. So see that the particular condensate water, when it has done the work of the rotating of the turbine, so therefore the condensate water will be there from at the cooling towers. So directly it can be treated for impurities. At the same time, this makeup water, when it is added in the boiler with the help of raw water, and therefore this raw water and makeup water are actually combined for the working of the boiler for converting water into steam. So therefore this can also be treated with raw water. The impurities present in the raw water should be treated before letting the feed water into boiler. So this is the main point here, that what are the impurities measured in the or the present in the raw water should be first treated before letting the feed water go into the boiler. The superheated steam coming out of the boiler is supposed to be free of all impurities the water might have contained. So basically the superheated steam which is coming out of the boiler, it should be fully free from all the impurities. Going to the next slide. Impurities in raw water. What are the various types of impurities in raw water now? Raw water from natural sources usually contains dissolved gases, dissolved salts, and minerals. Some organic and inorganic materials are also found in suspension. So see that the combination of raw water, because this raw water means nothing but the water available on the earth's surface. So it is actually this is the water is received naturally from the earth source. So therefore it will contain these above mentioned parameters. Dissolved gases are mainly oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and other gases. So in dissolved gases, we are getting this amount of the gases present in raw water. Then in dissolved salts, we get carbonates, sulfates, and chlorides of calcium, sodium, and magnesium. And iron silica salts are also occasionally present. So in some cases, you will find that iron and silica salts are also present in raw water, which can be treated. So see that raw water is the combination of dissolved gases, dissolved salts, and minerals. Going to the next slide. Alumina and silica in the form of mud and silt, then sewage and industrial waste are there as suspended matters. So again see that these suspended matters also cause some impurities in raw water in the form of alumina and silica. They are available in the form of mud and silt. All the impurities are to be removed by water treatment. So now see, when we have actually completed this water treatment processes, then there are chances that still there will be some impurities present in raw water. So even after that, some impurities may find their way into the boiler. So these impurities are to be neutralized by internal chemical reaction and removed by blowdown operation. So this last sentence is again more important, that some impurities which are there, which cannot be or which stay there at their own same position even after the water treatment, still they are actually not removed fully. So therefore this type of impurities enter into the boiler, and therefore for to check that impurities or to reduce that impurities, again they are to be neutralized by internal chemical reactions and removed by blowdown operation. Now, what are the effects of impurities on the boiler? The following are the effects of impurities on boiler and other equipments due to feed water entering into the boiler. So these are the five major effects of impurities which we are mentioning here. So first is scaling, then second is corrosion, third is foaming, fourth is priming, and fifth is embrittlement. These are the five effects of impurities on boiler. Remember that impurities can cause the boiler scale formation also at the inside end, and due to the scale formation the life of the boiler may reduce. At the same time, the working efficiency of the boiler, that is the thermal efficiency of the boiler, may also reduce. So we will one by one see the effects of the impurities. So first will be the impurities in raw water, known as scaling. So the solubility of some salts decreases with increasing temperature. Then the chemical saturation of such salts in water is needed. So the precipitation and sedimentation occur, forming a layer of scale on the heating surfaces and loose precipitates in the drum. So see, what happens is, due to the scaling formation, as we have mentioned, that if there are some types of salts, dissolved salts in the boiler which are not treated at the time of the water treatment process, so they find their way inside the boiler. So therefore what happens is this due to the presence of salts, the scale formation will take place due to the chemical saturation of the salts. So therefore due to that, what will happen is the inside part of the boiler will be proposed to precipitation and sedimentation. So therefore what will happen in this case, they will form a layer of scale on heating surfaces and loose precipitates in the drum. Then next point is, also supersaturated layer of water lying on the heating surface forms scales by crystallization. So due to the crystallization of the salts, because the supersaturated layer of water will be present inside the boiler, so due to crystallization also the scale formation will take place. Salts of calcium and magnesium are the main cause of scaling. As we have mentioned earlier, that the dissolved salts are more causing more in the scaling in more manner. So what are the parts of the boiler which are getting affected more? Boiler tubes, boiler drum, heater tubes, feed water piping gets affected by the scale formation. Scaling on the piping system chokes the flow and also reduces the heat transfer. So this is the major issue which the boiler or the power plants are facing, that if scaling formation is there on the piping system, it chokes the flow and also reduces the overall heat transfer coefficient. Overheating, then blistering and rupturing of tubes are expected when this accumulation becomes thick. So when this scaling formation becomes more and more, if the boiler is not maintained from time to time, then there are chances that the tubes of the boiler may be prone to overheating, blistering, that is the removal of the some part of the pipe, and rupturing of tubes, that is having a larger cracks. Going to the next slide, the impurities can be made to precipitate as a soft sludge by boiler water conditioning with chemicals added. So while the water is added for the conversion of steam in the boiler, there should be some chemicals added by which the boiler water conditioning can be done. The soft sludge thus formed can be removed by blowing down operation. Those steps are taken to prevent scaling, but 100% prevention is not possible. The scale formed during long operation of boiler has to be cleaned during boiler overhauling. So see that the scale formed during long operation of boiler, during the overhauling of the boiler, this scale formation is to be continuously cleaned so that there should be not be any thick layer formation on the tubes or the inside part of the boiler. Electric powered rotary brushes and cutters are pushed through the tubes for cleaning scale. So whenever the boiler is not in operation, or sometimes weak acid is also used for cleaning purpose. If suppose there is some maintenance time taken by the other systems, so at that particular point these rotary brushes or cutters can be just pushed through the tubes of the boiler so that the scale formation can be removed from time to time. Because if this scale formation is accumulated at a particular point, then they will reduce the life of the boiler. Then second is corrosion. Now we are already prone to this type of impurity in the raw water, corrosion. Corrosion is caused due to acid condition of water. All of you know this type of impurity already. Dissolved gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide produce corrosion. Whenever we know that in an iron pipe, if some particles of water are present, the corrosion starts because due to the oxidation of air. So chlorides present in boiler water help the corrosion process. Destructive conversion of metal into oxides or salts is known as or is called as corrosion. So see that destructive conversion of metal into oxides, because in combination with the in the presence of the gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide, which we have mentioned here, the corrosion starts to take place. And once the corrosion is starting, it directly transfers from one point to another, and there is one time where the full pipe can be exposed to corrosion. Corrosion can occur at any place in water loop. Boiler tubes, piping, then pumps and heat exchangers are normally affected by corrosion. So these are the types or the equipments or the parts of the system where the corrosion is taking at a larger rate. Dissolved oxygen in feed water should be kept at a level below the safe value. So there should be some particular value that up to which the corrosion will take place. So therefore a safe value is to be considered while the pipes are exposed to the water. Normally 0.5 cc per liter is considered safe, and for high pressure units it should be even less. So this is the way of the volume of water at a particular pipe limit. So the boiler water is always maintained alkaline to prevent corrosion. Now we know that there are certain measures, because in future lectures we are going to take the condition of water. Like one condition is there, that is pH value. So if this pH value is in the order of 7, then we say that the water is neutral. If the pH value is more than 7, then we say that the water is acidic. So mostly if the pH value of the water should be maintained alkaline, so that it should be less than 7 in order to make the water alkaline, so that the corrosion will be prevented. The next impurities in raw water is foaming. The sources of producing foam in the boiler drum is due to high concentration of dissolved salts, saponification of the boiler water through mixture of oil with alkali, and due to floating organic matter. So see that the type of the impurity that is foaming is firstly it is having the impurity in terms of high concentration of dissolved salts. If these dissolved salts are having a higher concentration, then this type of impurity can be known as foaming. Also saponification of the boiler water through mixture of oil with alkali. So here when the alkali and the oil are mixed, saponification of the boiler water means some separation of the boiler water will take place, which call as foaming, or also due to the floating organic matter. Foaming due to concentration of salts can be avoided by proper water treatment. So to reduce the concentration of salts in raw water, we can avoid this by proper water treatment. Blowing down of concentrated water also helps avoid foaming, because this blowing down operation we have seen earlier. So this is the major type of the removal of impurity in raw water, blowing down operation. Foaming severely affects the quality of steam, as it causes excessive carryover water with steam. So therefore the quality of steam is totally affected by due to this impurity. So this impurity should be reduced as far as possible. Then priming. If there is too much moisture carry over along with the steam, then the boiler drum is said to be priming. So here see that the priming process, it is an impurity in raw water, that if the boiler drum is carrying some steam along with moisture, so the steam, it is, if the steam is totally not a superheated steam, then it will have some moisture content in that. So that moisture content will cause the boiler drum towards priming, and this can be regarded as the impurity in raw water. The presence of impurity bearing droplets of water in the steam is called as carryover. When the water is vaporized in the superheater, the solid impurities are left behind to get deposit on the superheaters. So see that this is the condition of the operation of the boiler, that when the water is vaporized in superheater, the solid impurities are left behind to get deposited from the on the superheaters. So basically the presence of the impurity on or having the impurity in terms of droplets of water, that is the condition of the priming in this case. The impurities which can float are carried over along with steam to even turbine stage, where they may get deposit over turbine blades. So see why this type of impurity is more important here, because the moisture content which is there, which is coming with the help of the steam, it can affect the blades of the turbine also, because the accumulation with the steam is going to rotate the turbine, but the moisture, that is the water molecules present in the superheated steam also, this may get deposited over the turbine blades, which can cause the lower rotation, or which can cause a deceleration of the turbine blades. So therefore the speed of the turbine also can be reduced with the help of these impurities. So therefore, as far as possible, this impurity also should be removed. And the last one impurity, that is fifth type of impurity in raw water, is embrittlement. Embrittlement is considered to be one of the serious effects. The failure due to embrittlement may cause even explosion, though the occurrence is rare. So this type of impurities is mostly present in in smaller cases. So therefore the occurrence of this type of impurity is lower. Presence of sodium hydroxide is the main cause of embrittlement, which can be detected only by minute scrutiny. So I will explain you this, that how embrittlement is taking place. Basically this embrittlement means the internal structure of the boiler is opening in context. Means what? The as the number of hours of operation are increased for a boiler, the inside part of the boiler is just been exposed to the increasing diameter. The area inside of the boiler, due to the continuous heat transfer rate, due to continuous boiling, due to continuous heating of the inside part of the boiler, there are chances that the sodium hydroxide which is present, it will be acting with the walls of the boiler, and therefore there are chances that this embrittlement can cause a bursting of water if the actual pressure and temperature are not maintained. So therefore this embrittlement may even cause explosion, we have written here, but the occurrence is rare. Means at certain, nowadays we can see at certain time the pressure and temperatures of water are actually measured, then the chemical agents are sprayed inside the boiler in order to reduce the presence of sodium hydroxide. So it is due to loss of toughness in the metal and creation of minor cracks on the surface of the tube. So as we have explained just now, that the due to sodium hydroxide, the inside part of the boiler walls will be losing its toughness, and therefore there are chances of the explosion of the boiler. So in this lecture mostly we have seen the various types of impurities in water and steam, then what are the various effects of the impurities on raw water. So again, stay tuned for the remaining lectures. Mostly we are going to complete this. There are total again still 4 sessions remaining in power plant instrumentation. Then we are going to go for the further parts in power plant history. So basically this lecture was related to impurities in raw water. And again, subscribe to my YouTube channel for getting the remaining videos. Thank you.